I'm very happy that I will be able to receive this award, but also I'm equally glad of the reception from the media in terms of architecture in China, that the debate and the anticipation and the support of the media and the public in terms of architecture have risen exponentially in the past few months, and I think that has raised a lot of interesting discussion within the architectural community, as China is the leading industrial country right now for architecture. There are a few points I think that the jury has recognized as part of my work, and of course are issues that we continue to discuss. The first one is that as China is rapidly going through urban development, how does that in relation or draw a relationship with Chinese historical culture? I think that is something that we will continue to have discussion over. For the past 30 years, of course, China has gone through dramatic technology and economical change. But what we also are very concerned about is, will culture be also able to keep up with that change of the economy and technology? As an anecdote for myself, when I received the award, there was a lot of question as to, was this real? Was this really the truth? And I think that Chinese architects are still facing the challenge of proving themselves able to overcome this important issue. Also, I find that many people are very interested in my positioning, and as my own studio is called the amateur studio, you can see that underlying message is that we have our positioning is a direct contrast with the shiny, the glittering, powerful, large-scale architectural forms that are in today's urban China, and that what we are striving for is something more pedestrian, more closer to the people, sometimes a little rough around the edges, but closer to the heart of the people and serving the community. So we are going our independent way, and this is something that I think will continue to arise some debate. You raised a very complicated question with a few different key points. Of course, the first point is the relationship between the city and the countryside. We talk a lot about urbanization, but we don't talk enough about how to develop the rural areas. In China right now, they say that urbanization has reached 50%, and by European standards, it should be even higher, up to 70%, but we have to understand the size of the China population. If that was so, that's already 1.5 times larger than Europe and than the entire population of Europe. And I think the bigger problem that we should think about is in the ecological and total sustainable direction. How do we develop the rural areas of China, as that's where most of the population is? To resolve that problem will be the greatest contribution we can have to urban sustainability and urban development. I think the next point is in terms of the values, because inherently the people of China, especially the rural people, feel that the city is better than the countryside. Therefore, we need to really change the culture, and what I've been doing the past few years is to learn from the rural countryside and the development of that area. I have a student that told me, I hate you because I struggle very hard to leave the countryside, come to the city, and now I'm building works for you, and it's exactly the same as I was in the countryside. Therefore, but he said, this is the important part of that you should realize is how do we redefine and how do we build the rural areas. I think the most important role of architects in this terms of this issue is how do we let people transcend the values or develop new values in terms of urbanization and ruralization. And this is something that is within the architect's ability to contribute. I've been drilled with this question many times. I think people keep asking because it is still a question in their mind. Overall, I feel that there's nothing inherently wrong with these great works by the masters. I think that the many people still have a question is the result of these works. Do these great works eliminate the historical and heritage works of China? And that we should, Chinese people should develop our own confidence in that Chinese architecture is independent and has its own school of thought and has its own recognizability, that it can be a strong voice in and exist mutually, exist symbiotically with these international works, and that China should focus on having a multicultural value system where works by all artists of different countries can exist together, and instead of one or the other. If it becomes the case where, Chinese historical monuments or historical heritage is being destroyed or being extinct due to the influence of outer foreign sources, then I definitely cannot stand for that.